Hi everyone, how are you? It's Erin from DIY Passion, and I just finished up my lunch and I was sitting here making my lists in my list book, and I noticed that quite a few of my lists revolve around Ikea. In case you have been living under a rock, or at least a rock in Nova Scotia, which is where I live, we're getting an Ikea. There is an Ikea that is mostly built right now in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and it's going to be the first time we've had an Ikea in like 30 years or something. Apparently there used to be one in the similar location. It closed down back in the early 80s for some reason. And city officials lobbied hard for a long time to get an Ikea to come back to Atlantic Canada, and we were successful. So Ikea will be opening, I've heard some rumors, end of September, that the store will be ready to go. And you can see if you've driven by lately that it really looks like things are ramping up, and I know that they did a big hiring push. So today I thought it would be really fun to talk about some of the things that we are going to be able to buy, that I'm excited to buy at Ikea when it opens up. Because up until now, if you have lived in Halifax or in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick for that matter, the closest Ikea to us was in Montreal. And if you are aware of the Canadian geographic landscape, you will realize that that is really far to go, especially if you're driving. And just to go to Ikea, it was silly. It was like 24 hours round trip to go to Ikea. So a lot of people were ordering online, and there were a few services that popped up that would deliver your Ikea goods to you here in town. But there were always those little things that you couldn't buy on the Ikea website that now we're going to be able to buy. And so those are some of the things that are on my list that I thought we could run through today. And before I get too far into it, I will reintroduce myself because I know it takes people a little bit of time to log on live. I'm Erin from DIY Passion, and if you've been following me for a while, I don't hide it. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Well, I was born and raised in Toronto, but I've lived in Halifax for almost a decade. So if you know someone who is in the Halifax, Nova Scotia area who is just as excited about Ikea as I am, tag them in the comments, share this video with them, because my plan is once Ikea opens, I will definitely be blogging more about it, of course, because it's going to be so close. So I won't have an excuse to not talk about it anymore. So yeah, I would love to spread the word about things that I'm going to be doing, and just get to know more people who are in and around the area who might be interested in things like home decor and organizing and family-friendly projects and stuff. So if you're watching and you know someone who would be excited about this, tag them in the comments, share the video. Let them know Erin says hello. And I can see I'm using my new software today too, and a comment just popped up, so it shows me it's working. Stephanie's here. She says, yes, so excited to finally wander. We never have the time to wander in Montreal. Just get in and out and back on the road. I know, and I feel the same way too. My parents are still in Toronto, and when I go there, I feel like it's a whirlwind, and I'm stressed out, and sometimes I make purchases that I don't really mean to make, and I'm not as planned in my purchasing. So having one just down the road is going to be great, notwithstanding the hot dogs and the meatballs. Okay, so let's get into it, and I'm going to try this new software. So let's go back to now I should say that these 4 things aren't necessarily my favorite Ikea products. So as we're going through them, if there's a favorite Ikea product that you have, let me know what it is in the comments as well. I have a few favorites. And I know that they've just released their new stuff for the summer. Some of those new things that they've got in the catalog look fantastic, but I don't know what it takes to become an Ikea favorite. I think it has to be an Ikea staple for a while. Okay, so let's switch over to the 4 things I'm excited to buy when Ikea opens in Nova Scotia. And I think if you're following Halifax Retails, I saw a rumor on Twitter that the 22nd of September is their opening date. Okay, so here's the first thing. Shelf brackets. I know, totally not the most exciting thing ever. We have, I think, 6 of these. Now, the reason that I like those shelf brackets is because they're so inexpensive. I think those ones are $2.50 each. And then I think there's a larger size that's like $4. Now, everybody knows I love me a hardware store, but you cannot get brackets that stylish, those are solid wood, for that price at a hardware store right now. So I think that the local hardware stores are going to be hard pressed to compete with that kind of a product when IKEA opens. And that's just an example of one of those small little things that in Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada, we haven't really had the ability to get our hands on for a while, because it's just one of those little things that you can't buy online from IKEA. Paying the shipping for a tiny little shelf bracket makes 0 sense. And sometimes it's the one thing when you are in Montreal or in Toronto or in a larger city that you just forget you need or you should have shelf brackets. So I'd like to keep a couple of those on hand, because you never know, right? I'm kind of in the process of adding a couple storage elements to our kitchen. Those shelf brackets, perfect. And for a set, you're not even out $5. So that's my first thing on my list. Let's let me know, do you guys use those shelf brackets? Do you love those shelf brackets as much as I do? Because I love me those shelf brackets. Okay, so the second thing I'm excited to buy, the PAX wardrobe. And here you can see, this one is the pretty picture from the IKEA website. It's got the 3 doors, those amazing handles. It's got those fun lights on top. It's probably a little hard to see on your Facebook screen, but there's just so much that you can do with a PAX wardrobe. They're completely customizable. And the other thing that I like about them is that the PAX wardrobe comes in 2 different depths. So there is a 13 3/4 depth, which is larger than a standard bookcase. A standard bookcase is 11 3/4. So it buys you that extra couple of inches, which means that if you have fancy shoes, they will for sure fit on the shelf. If you have larger, I don't know, some of my design books, for example, are beautiful big hardcover books that might be 12 inches. Like, just because they're full of pictures. So you need a deeper shelf to let them have space and let them breathe. PAXs let that happen. So they have the 13 3/4, and then they have a 22 3/4, which is like really, really deep for a shelf. Perfect for closets, which is how they're mainly marketed as wardrobes. Soon, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be showing you how I'm using a PAX wardrobe in my office space, which is where I'm sitting right now, which is a work in progress. But I ordered a PAX a while ago. The other good thing about PAXs are the heights. So they come in a standard kind of almost 8 feet, but then you can get ones that are 96 inches high. So if you have a lot of ceiling space, if you live in a loft, if you have cathedral ceilings, if you have the benefit of having built your house and you have taller than 8-foot ceilings, you can buy a PAX and use all of that space, which is so key when you're storing kids' clothes and toys and all of the things. So hopefully I'll be able to show you my styled PAX soon. I'm actually finding it's so much space, I don't know what to do with it. So that's number 2 on my list. Number 3 on my list of things that I'm excited to buy when IKEA opens in Nova Scotia. And if you're watching this, let me know, what are you most excited about for the big IKEA opening, hopefully in September? And if you know someone who's as excited about IKEA as I am, make sure you share this broadcast with them or tag them. I'd love to get to know them. So the next thing, pillows. Pillows. And I'm lumping all kinds of textiles into that grouping. So also draperies. I could probably say like some of the throw blankets, generally textiles. I probably should have just said textiles, but one of my blogging friends, Katie from Little House of 4, did a post about sort of the unknown things you should buy at IKEA, and one of her top picks were the pillow forms, because you can get feather down pillows or imitation feather down pillows at Ikea for really inexpensive, $12 I think for the big ones. And then you can also get just the nice little toss inserts that you can use for your outdoor cushions. You can use in the playroom, you can toss them in the washing machine, and they're like $5. So in a house like mine, where I'm constantly using pillows to change up my decor, because it's a really inexpensive way to switch things up, having access to inexpensive pillow forms that I can just add covers to is really key. The other thing I love in terms of textiles, they have some great, beautiful prints for draperies that are inexpensive as well. Scott says, but are they comfy pillows? We bought some from HomeSense and they were terrible. Okay, so I do have some tips for what to look for when you're buying pillows. I am a pillow squisher, so I go to HomeSense and I squish and squish all the pillows. I do the same thing at Ikea. Ikea only has a few kinds of pillows though, so once you squish a few, you've kind of squished them all. Okay, anyway, so my tip is don't buy that yucky foam. If you poke the pillow and then it bounces back out at you, it's going to be an uncomfy pillow every time. So I always buy the down or the imitation down pillows, and I find that they're really easy to clean in the washing machine. You just have to kind of know what you're doing, and it's worth spending the extra money because they last a lot longer and they're super, super comfy. And yeah, so don't, Scott, it sounds to me like you bought the pillows that like poke back at you. Yes. Don't buy those. They might have the cheaper price tag, but I've gotten some pairs of down-filled pillows at HomeSense for $34.99. So, and that's for 2 pillows. So if you hunt and squish, you'll find the right ones. But I'm excited about Ikea coming because sometimes, you know, you don't want to put the down pillows outside in case they get left in the rain, because that'll just be a mess. So those cheaper ones, use them outside. That's what the Ikea ones are great for. Okay, so that was 3rd on my list. Okay, I promised you 4 things. This is my 4th one, and it might be a little controversial. Let's see. Okay, so my 4th one, slip covers. Slip covers, slip covers. You're very welcome, Scott. I have written a blog post. I will link it here about why I love our Ikea slip-covered couch. Now we have this Ektorp model, this one that's right here, but my slip cover is bright white, which I know you're like, what? A white couch? In fact, I have 2 white couches, both with Ikea slip covers. I love them. My trick is that, first of all, it says don't bleach them. I totally bleach them. I totally bleach them. They only cost $100. So the number of time, like the amount of wear and tear, extra wear and tear that bleaching them is going to do, it'll be worth it to me in the end, even if I have to go out and buy a new one. So if you do have a white slipcover, yes, use bleach and use warm water. I know it says cold water. Use a warm water. Now, the only thing that I do adhere to is that I wash them solo in the washing machine. I don't put anything else in with them. And when I dry them to about 80% dry, and then let them, put them back on the cushion covers and let them dry that way so they keep their shape. And they're also easier to get on when they're slightly damp. Just a little wee bit damp, not like sodden or anything. But you know, kind of that cold damp when something doesn't completely dry in the dryer, that's where you want them to be. So I have had an Ikea couch, a white one, since it was one of the first couches that we bought in our tiny little condo. So I've had it going on 7 years and it's still going strong. Might be needing replacement now. And we invested in the Ektorp white couch 2 years ago. I don't regret it for a hot minute. But I am excited to have access to the store so that if I wanted to switch out the color at any point, I could just get a new slipcover. And the slipcovers run, I don't know, they're not expensive. Like I said, I think they're probably all within the $100 range. So that's my list of things. They're not my favorite Ikea products, but they are the things, at least some of the things that I'm excited to buy when Ikea opens in Nova Scotia very, very soon. And I see Lori says, white couches are the best. I think comfy couches are the best. I have another IKEA couch that's in our playroom, and I think it's been discontinued. But it's deep, like almost deeper than a single bed. And I just can't get rid of it because when the whole family wants to cuddle together on movie night, we can all fit on that couch. And I don't think we paid very much for that. So if you are in the stage of life that we are in, with dogs, with cats, with kids, with husbands, with messes, and you might not be ready for your forever couch, IKEA is great. The price points are great. And if they, if you do them in a few years, you're not going to be heartbroken. But that's why I love the slip cover. Our basement couch, no slip cover. And it got a big grease stain on it last week. So I've had to flip the cover over, and I'm hoping that it makes it through until I have inspiration and decide to replace the couch. But it's just in the playroom right now, so I really don't care. Yay for IKEA in Nova Scotia. Okay, guys, so that's it for me. I hope you're as excited about IKEA as I am. And I might build out this list a little bit more and let you know what else I'm crushing on. Maybe I'll do an IKEA catalog crush video. I do want to let you know before I go that speaking of videos, have a new video coming out in the next, 6 hours or so. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it, where I'm going to be talking about decorating a small bedroom. Tips and tricks, all my best advice for how I made our guest room functional. The guest room is only 8 feet by 9 feet, so it's like a shoebox. But I packed a lot of tips and tricks into that one space. So yeah, that's my goal for the rest of the day, is to finish up the video and get it posted. So hopefully you can set your notifications to on and come back and check out that video once I post it right here on the Facebook feed, and there's a blog post that goes with it as well. Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning into this video, and like I said, if you know someone in Nova Scotia, Halifax, New Brunswick, PEI, wherever, who's excited about our IKEA opening, share this video with them or tag them in the comments and keep the conversation going, and I will see you guys later. Bye!